That's exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. Nice. Come on now. Okay. Oh, yeah, I got it. There we go. I actually did get it. Okay, fantastic. That means I can now be a little bit more mobile, and I can try and kill some people with my polearm. You know what? I should probably switch to my two-handed here, to be honest. Because even though my polearm is extremely fun to use, and I love it, I think it's an amazing weapon. Highly recommended to craft one for yourself if you're also playing the game. Hello and welcome back to the Ronin. And, well, we have probably the pinnacle of our war against the Crusade. This is probably one of the largest armies we've ever seen from them, that we have actually engaged, of course. And, well, I'm actually helping one of our friends here, as you can quite clearly see. And this is going to work out very nicely indeed, because, as you can see, they have 828, we have 1,343. I did go to some of my garrisons and pull out a bunch of, well, you know my strategy now. Basically, low-tier units, auto-resolve, level them up. That's pretty much how it goes. Anyway, with this, I could auto-resolve. I could auto-resolve this and probably get a pretty decent result, but I'm actually not going to do that just purely for entertainment value. Because what fun is it if I just auto-resolve all the time? Well, it's not that fun, right? So we're going to try and see just how many kills I can get, and even if I can survive the entirety of this battle. Bear in mind that this is going to be an extraordinary feat for me to attempt to do that, because you know me, I generally tend to gravitate towards death for some reason. I don't know why that happens, but it does, and it is a rather natural way of things for me for some reason. Anyway, I was hopeful that I'd be able to eliminate that guy pretty easily. Oh, nice hit. Oh, no. I was really hoping I'd be able to get a couple of kills right there. I need to get in the swing of things. This is the first battle I've had today, actually. I booted up the game about half an hour ago and was just doing a little bit of recruiting and some little micromanaging of stuff. And now, obviously, we're in the fight. We are in the midst of things, and I'm actually doing massive damage as well, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, the timing of this weapon is just perfect for me as well. Really makes a huge difference. Got to be a bit careful about the infantry. As I've said before, personally, I feel like infantry are some of the hardest units for me to deal with specifically. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I think it's probably because they use my own momentum against me, and they have much better timing than I do, and that's probably the reason. Because usually, if they're a spearman, for example, they're going to be able to do massive damage with their spears, and that is obviously not something we want. So hopefully, oh, there we go. Oh, that lovely damage, that lovely damage. I really love seeing that. Oh, we got some more people coming in here. Ooh, he got him. He got him shielded. Nice. That's what we like. Now a little bit more. Just a couple more. Just a couple more kills, sir. Just a couple more kills. I would like to kill this guy. Get him. You know, I'm actually kind of confused about how this battle is going so well, because if you think about it, we're kind of, I mean, that's the thing. Every single time we've gone up against the Crusade, we have always had issues lasting the distance, so to speak. So whenever we would get into a situation like this, we would always be, well, shall we say, outmatched with their combat strength, even if they had less than us, if you know what I mean. So eventually they would be able to overrun us, and apparently that's not happening this time. So I'm kind of a bit weirded out by it, to be honest. This is not usual for the Crusade, so I can only assume that maybe the armies that they have at the moment, at least in this particular battle, are not the most effective that they've ever fielded. That could be the case, because obviously the army that defeated us in a previous episode, they were in a siege, So of course they had a bit of an advantage in that case because the walls were already down and so on. And yeah, that definitely makes a pretty big difference. And actually, you know what? Speaking about that, I think someone actually mentioned that because I have such a large army capacity, I was, you know, basically failing with a pretty obvious outcome. You know what I mean? So basically, I was causing myself to fail just because I didn't have a full army. And yeah, sure, you know, that definitely contributed to it. However, I would definitely say that if I were to run around with 400 units in my own army and then maximum units in every single one of my party clan members, you know, armies, I would never get anywhere, basically. I would need so many horses to be able to field all of the infantry on the world map and actually make the deficit of movement speed be enough to level it out to basically break even in that case, that it would be extremely ill-advised, in my opinion, at least. And yeah, sure, you can do that if you want to, but I wouldn't say that you can definitively suggest that that was an error on my part. And I'm perfectly happy to receive any kind of constructive criticism whatsoever. I'm perfectly open to that. I really don't mind. If anything, it just helps me out. However, I feel like I wanted to explain myself a little bit about that, and that's just the primary reason that I didn't want to be a snail on the world map any more than we already are, of course. And I'm kind of pushing things a little bit with my current army size as it is right now, but I kind of wanted to go on a bit of a siege spree and try to capture a bunch of towns and castles in this episode. And that was the main reason why I went a little bit overboard with the amount of units in my own army as well. And of course, we do have a lot of units to level up too. So if I didn't have that many units to level up and I had mainly high tier, then I would pretty much just leave them. Come on now, don't die. There we go. Yeah, I would pretty much just leave my my high tier units alone, and I'd pretty much just keep them in my army and just remain a slightly faster fighting force than what we would otherwise be if we decided to focus on numbers over anything else. So yeah, but anyway, obviously the game is very much a sandbox. It's a very much a game about player choice and everything. So you can have whatever composition you want, but you can't say, that's the point, you can't say that one composition is going to be better than another one, because let's say that I had, what, 400 recruits in my army? Yeah, that's not going to win, is it? You know, it really depends on unit quality, it depends on tactics, and it also depends on the current situation of the battlefield, and in my case, the walls. The walls were the main problem there. They were the main issue as to why we suffered so many casualties initially. But I believe that is going to be a victory for us. As you can see, we have murdered quite a few, which I very much appreciate, and I believe that is indeed that. I don't think they're going to be able to do much more, and we are dramatically in favor here. Just look at this. So many casualties already. Unfortunately, the Crusade are doing that thing that they tend to do, where the longevity of their horse archers and some of their other cavalry is causing a lot of problems for us, and they're actually starting to dwindle our units so much so that they're almost, I mean, they're not equalizing the amount of kills that we have, but they're only 200 behind. So it's really kind of frightening that they're still capable of being so effective. But there you go. 56 renown for us. I really don't care about the renown so much, even though we are not yet a tier 6 clan. And I'm hopeful that we will be one relatively soon. Anyway, I'm just going to take every single person prisoner that I can get my hands on, so that I can prevent them from being as annoying as possible on the world map for as long as possible. And I'm going to be taking some Tetsugen units if I can. There we go. We have a couple there, but they are unfortunately not recruitable or indeed convertible to our side. So I'm actually wondering whether I should just take these units and then just sell them or something like that. I don't really... that's the thing. I don't need money. Oh, actually, you know what? Roguery skill. Yeah, let's do it for the roguery skill, shall we? That sounds like a good idea. But now, look at this. Look at all of these units right here. These guys are all leveling up. It's absolutely insane the amount of experience you're able to get. And Look at that. All of these guys right here, they are all new, right? They are all new that I have leveled up just now. And that just shows the extreme power of literally just committing to a particular plan or a battle or a siege or something like that. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to continue leveling those guys up, and hopefully it's going to work out really, really well. And by the way, thank you to those of you that have given me assistance in the past as well, and indeed in the very, very recent, yeah, well, I can't say the present because at the moment it's the present, but I mean, obviously, I'm not going to talk about the whole, like, time time theories and so on and so forth, because technically what I've just said just now 2 seconds ago is in the past, you know what I mean? So I can't say it's in the present because it's constantly never mind, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, point is, I very much appreciate your assistance and indeed all of your tips and information and suggestions and all that stuff. I very much appreciate that, very much so. Anyway, we're going to go into the trade screen here because I would like to buy some food potentially. Maybe we can buy some beer and some olives, meat, and so on. Because we're actually we're not doing so well on the food front. We have 128 days left, which is not that bad. But actually bringing me to that point, I would like to sell some cotton, some velvet, some furs, and I would like to sell some sheep as well. This is obviously going to reduce the amount of food that we have available too, so we've got to bear that in mind. But I would like to try and get some trade skill. I don't know whether this will get us trade skill, but it would be kind of cool if we could make it work. So we'll see whether we do. No, we didn't get any. Mainly because these pieces of trade goods were from raiding and pillaging and looting and all that stuff, and not actually from buying it from another marketplace. But if I wanted to level trade skill, I think it would be quite easy. Or at least I think it would be. Anyway, I'm going to go into the tavern real quick and choose the prisoners to be ransomed. I think I have I have way too many. Some of them actually did almost escape, which is not very good. Anyway, let's just get all these guys gone. All the Khuzait. I don't really want the Khuzait units in my army specifically, so even if I could convert them, I'm not going to do that. That's where I draw the line. Yes, I might keep the Imperials because we're using a whole bunch of Imperials already, so it might just make a little bit of sense to do that. And otherwise, there you go. Three points? What? I just gained 13,000 from selling all those prisoners, and I only gained 3 skill points? Oh, I guess I don't have that much in it, do I? No. It's got a learning rate of 2.31 even, so that is not particularly good. Anyway, someone suggested that I actually start using some throwing weapons and indeed bows as well, because that's probably going to help me to increase the amount of experience I get over time. And yes, indeed, I probably will end up doing that, but not at the moment. I think what I'd probably like to do first is try and take a couple of things. Bear in mind that Ortungard was taken by this extremely large army, and I think Monchug also has an army running around somewhere. So he's probably going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, but hopefully he's not going to turn up just yet. I would like to be able to do a little bit of something here first. Now, this is exactly what I do when I'm off screen, by the way. I just want to give you an example of this because this is super, super simple, super easy to do. And basically, all we do, make some trebuchets. Obviously, you need a pretty decent amount of engineering skill to be able to do this in a short amount of time. Because if you don't, we know what that's like. You're going to be standing here for a very long period of time, and then an army's going to come out of nowhere and be like, hello there, we're here to interrupt you. And then it's going to be terrible. Anyway, I don't want to destroy the walls at Ortungard or anything like that. All I want to do is reduce the garrison size. And then I'm literally just going to do this. And auto-resolve, boom, 2 casualties, and that's it. Easy, easy win. And that's all we really wanted. And also, we do get a lot of experience gain as well as a result of doing that. Now, of course, whenever we do take something, we've got to also bear in mind that I'm placing units in the garrison there, which is really pretty bad. That's not something that I always want to have happen, but it is just a default behavior for the way the game works. But if I could choose, I would make it so that that did not happen, But they need some defenders, don't they? Yeah, I mean, they need some defenders of some kind, because otherwise it's just going to take, you know, it's going to get taken back super, super fast by all of these vassals around here, and that's just going to be kind of awful. So, you know, we're going to give this to Hanzo, I guess, because they're all relatively even, gaining huge amounts of charm skill there. But you can see that we need 1.9 million experience. That's also something that I should mention as well. I think I mentioned it before, but I just want to go over it very briefly. Without Bannerlord tweaks giving me a little bit of extra experience, I haven't got it at maximum setting or either, by the way, but without Bannerlord tweaks doing that, I would literally be at level... let me actually just have a quick look here. I'm at level 35 right now. I would probably be at level 25, maybe? If that, I probably wouldn't be that high up at all, unless I were to do something with smithing, because of course the only smithing changes that I've made have been to the energy and the stamina being used up, because I personally feel like the whole stamina system is a little bit flawed at the moment. It might need a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a rework to it, but that's just my opinion, of course. Some people think it's fine, and that's all good. However, it's annoying to me, so I generally tend to try and change it a little bit to suit my needs a bit more. And anyway, point is, if you use smithing in a smart way, you're going to be able to gain a huge amount of experience and level yourself up very, very quickly. But if you don't want to do that, or if you don't want to use it for some reason or another, then obviously you don't have to. But in my opinion, that's pretty much, I would say, in the base game, that's pretty much the only way that you can, quote-unquote, power level. Because power leveling in Bannerlord, with the exception of... I'm not entirely sure what you could do otherwise. There's a number of different things that you could do, but I would say that, in general, it's probably going to be quite difficult to power level without using smithing of any kind. Anyway, these guys are going to try and attack me right here. I'm not a big fan of this, actually. It seems like we are being attacked by the Azarai. That's kind of weird. Alright, so it seems like we're going in here against these guys. Not a big fan of this, actually, so I'm going to just auto-resolve it right quick. As you can see, we literally lost 73 units. That's nothing. Bear that in mind. That is absolutely nothing. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I really don't want to fight the Crusade again. in the same episode. I would really very much prefer to just move on, try and take a couple of fiefs, and then get to where we need to be, really, to be in a advantageous position. Not going to be taking any prisoners. As we've seen, roguery skill doesn't seem to want to level up any further, so, well, at a very dismal pace, at least. So we're just going to be giving this Hakun Castle to Katsuyori. Sounds like a good idea to me. And we're going to gain some charm skill from that and all that wonderful stuff. Anyway, we're going to be getting... Look at how many Palatine Guards I've just gained. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I can continue doing this almost basically infinitely, because my automated garrisons will recruit recruits. They'll train them up. In my towns, at least, to tier 4, and in my one castle, I think I only have one castle at the moment, but in my one castle, they'll level them up to tier 3, and then I can just basically take all of those. Even if I want to take just recruits, I could do that too. And then we could basically just run around leveling these guys up by doing auto-resolves against looters, auto-resolves against vassals, and so on and so forth. But now we're going to have to be a little bit careful here, because I don't really want to fight this particular army with such a diminished force, but I do want to kill these guys. I'm really surprised, actually, that the Crusade have so much strength still, to be honest, because I'm defeating a lot of their armies, even off-screen. I'm actually defeating quite a few, but they always seem to continue cropping up. They're like weeds, you know? They're like weeds that must be stamped out as much as you possibly can, and unfortunately we don't have any very effective weed killer, but, you know, that's just how it goes, unfortunately. Is that army still following me, by the way? Oh, they are? Are you serious right now? That is actually kind of crazy. Okay, yeah, I don't want to give the... Oh, dear. Murasame, you should run away. Oh, actually, you know what? I think we'd probably be able to win this battle if I was a little bit more healthy. I think we could probably do this. And I'm talking about my army's health, of course, because we're at 78 wounded, and we have 138 wounded total in the entire army here. Oh, yes, Murasame, I think, wants to go in here. We might be able to auto-resolve against them and then take Chaikand. That would be an extremely advantageous thing to do. Chaikand is one of their biggest economic centers. At least, that is what I have been led to believe in previous series. Maybe it's changed. But generally, building a smithy there is a very, very good way to go. But that could just be because I was doing a bit of a trading series at that point, and having a smithy there was very good because I had a large amount of iron ore and I was able to transfer it in there and, you know, all that wonderful stuff. Anyway, it seems like Murasame... You know what? I'm gonna do something. Can I not? No, he's already in another army. Oh no, are you serious? Okay, I'm gonna call for Katsuyori then instead. Gonna call for Katsuyori. Where is he? Where are you? Where are you, sir? There he is. There he is. Okay, I don't know why this guy's in someone else's army. Which army is he in? Okay, he's in that one. Alright, well, anyway. Katsuyori... Come on! Yeah, let's do this. Come on, guys. Oh, yeah. This is gonna be good. Look at that. Now I have 900 units. These guys will not be able to fight against this, no matter what they want to do. They will not be able to do anything in this case. Look at that. That is crazy. Okay, so, yeah, once again, just do a swift auto-resolve right there. 57 losses. Really not a big deal. And there we are. That is exactly what we wanted. Alright, not going to take the prisoners, as I say. I want to continue moving fast, and I want to try and hit them as hard as we possibly can. Now, obviously, Katsuyori, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go, and actually, you know what? I might keep him. I might keep him for the moment. Okay, so this is what we've done. Look at that. We've gotten the inroad right here. And we've consolidated their territory in such a way so that, look at this, all of this is also ours. They haven't, that's the point, they haven't been able to have the time or the resources to be able to strike back at our weakest links. And Chinopsis Castle and Phykeon, obviously they've been taken a little bit of time ago, so of course maybe they didn't have time to take it at that point, but they haven't had time to take back Ortungard, whereas they would have beforehand, because we have been running interference to try and eliminate as many of their armies as possible. And that is making such a huge difference. It really is. Anyway, let's just go over here real quick, because I would like to level up some more units. Gonna gain some more Palatine Guards right there. And this is just turning into an even stronger force. Every single time we win, it just makes us stronger. Even though we lose a bunch of units at that point, that's not actually that bad. It's not actually that bad. Anyway, let's go into Chaikand right here. And let's get some siege towers up and running as well, just in case. And we've got the battering ram, of course, and there we go. Alright, so personally, in this situation, you know what I'd do if I were them? I would sally out with the garrison, and I would try to take care of this, this opposing army on the field of battle. I think that would probably be the most advantageous thing for them to do, because otherwise I'm going to restore all of our forces. My wounds are healing rapidly as we speak, and everyone is going to be much, much more ready for a fight in a moment's time, rather than before, when they had the opportunity to go in when we were all wounded. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that, I suppose. But what I'm looking forward to doing is, once we get into the siege, I'm going to do a manual siege. I'm not going to do an auto-resolve or anything like that. But once we get in, I'm going to try and level up my crossbow skill. I'm almost at 125, and I would love to be able to get, you know, to get actually to 175 eventually. And I've got it. I do realize, by the way, that I need to use it much more to get, you know, that much-needed skill. And being able to use it on horseback would also improve the amount of times that I'm able to use it in combat. Because at the moment, I can pretty much only use it in a siege, or if I want to make myself into a bit more of a sitting duck, then I would have to get off my horse in a field battle. And that might be a little bit too risky. I'm not entirely sure about that. But we're just going to try and take down the walls. I will probably, if we are able to achieve victory at Chaikand, I will probably be staying there for quite a considerable amount of time, just to make sure that the garrison is as reinforced as it possibly can be. and then moving on from there after that, because the walls need to be repaired. And I'm not going to go on and try to, you know, besiege these things again and again. We're just going to try and secure this very lucrative position, and then we'll you know, decide what we want to do after that. But this is also a good strategy, basically just allowing your trebuchets just to murder all the catapults. If these were ballistas, by the way, I probably already would have charged in, because I find fighting against ballistas on the defense to be extremely frustrating, because ballistas are very accurate, easy to build, and they don't really allow my trebuchets to really do that much. And the enemy is able to build them so incredibly fast that it makes no difference in me eliminating them, I suppose. Anyway, I'm just going to take these, and then we're going to be heading in, aren't we? Yes, I think we shall. Let's do it. And we went in at exactly 4:20. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Anyway, let's make our way over to one of the open walls, and I might be able to utilize my crossbow to get that one last point, because I'm at 124, I believe. Yes, I think I'm at 124 at the moment, so it would make a lot of sense for me to try and get that. Wish I could dive off my horse. I feel like diving off my horse is, well, it's very action movie-esque, and certainly not something that's incredibly realistic, but I kind of wish I would be able to do that, because it is, you know, that would be a lot of fun. Wait a minute. Oh, are you serious? Ah, that really grinds my gears, you know. It really grinds my gears when that happens. Whenever you have a clear shot at someone's face, and then other people's shield hitboxes get in the way, it's really annoying. Really annoying. But anyway, maybe we're going to be able to go through here then instead. I mean, I'm kind of in two minds about whether I should tell my people to charge in as well. What? Did you see that? I literally fired right at the back of his head, and yet it hit a shield. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. Nice. Come on now. Okay. Oh, yeah, I got it. There we go. I actually did get it. Okay. Fantastic. That means I can now be a little bit more mobile, and I can try and kill some people with my polearm. You know what? I should probably switch to my two-handed here, to be honest. Because even though my polearm is extremely fun to use, and I love it, I think it's an amazing weapon. Highly recommended to craft one for yourself if you're also playing the game. But in general, yeah, it's just much better to use a two-handed in these situations, even though at the moment it's seeming like that's the case. Generally, if you can take an opportunity to do so, then obviously leveling up skills that wouldn't normally be leveled up in these kinds of situations is probably a good idea. But polearms are just, I mean, especially the polearm that I have, at least, it's just so much more fun to use. And that's, in my opinion, that's the name of the game. Anything that's fun, you should definitely do. So, yeah, anyway, let's see if we can get a couple of level ups here. Maybe my athletic skill might increase a little bit faster as well if I use the two-handed. What's my two-handed skill at, anyway? Don't even know. Murder. Oh, there's a lot of murder going on here. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I said it. I said it. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Someone actually mentioned in the comments a while ago that whenever I say the word murder, or whenever I'm murdering and saying murder out loud, it usually results in my demise. Thankfully, it was so advanced into the battle that there was no opportunity for the gods of fate to, you know, shake their fist at me and then just punch me in the face or whatever. But anyway, there you go. That was good. That was wonderful. We were able to take it with extremely minimal casualties, and we are now going to be taking the loot. And then, as I said, no, we lost someone. Uluwen, we lost. Okay, that's actually kind of sad. That is actually kind of sad. She was an absolutely fantastic member of our clan, and she was one of the most powerful, actually. She leveled herself up so incredibly fast. She gained massive amounts of leadership, was able to field about 190 units at the end. But alas, she is alone once more. Look at her skills. Look at her skills. Absolutely crazy skills. 247 in Steward. 180... What? She had 188 in Medicine? I had no idea that that was the case. 200 in Bows. And she didn't even have leadership. Actually. It seems like she didn't even have leadership. Okay, my bad. I actually thought she had a good amount of leadership. But no, look at her Medicine skill. 188 in Medicine. What? Do all of our people have that? I don't think so. Wait a minute. I'm going to have a look-see here real quick. Okay, what about Hero Bear? How are you doing, sir? Okay. Yeah, he's got a decent amount of steward skill, but nowhere near the amount of medicine that Uluwen had. But he does have leadership, and he is 8 years younger, so obviously that is to be expected. But still, I'm extremely saddened by that. That is very sad. Oh well. Okay. I mean, she did her duty, and she was extremely effective at it. And we will remember her. At least for the next couple of episodes, I guess. But yeah, anyway, that is actually kind of sad and pretty disappointing. But, as I say, she was a legend. She was doing very, very nicely indeed. And I suppose she was hit by something. I'm not entirely sure what, but she was definitely hit by something in this siege. Maybe a siege weapon or something that took her out. Anyway, we finally reached 125 in crossbows, so we now get to pick a perk. We have the choice between your attacks with crossbows ignore 10% of enemy's armor, as well as troops in your formation using crossbows ignore 5% of the enemy's armor. And then we also have this, which increases the stack size for quivers by +4, and troops in your party increase their bolt stack size by +2. In my opinion, the ignoring 10% of the enemy's armor is much better, because in general, if you use 2 bolts to kill 1 person, whereas the 10% would have been able to make you kill someone with 1 bolt, then you're saving 1 bolt anyway, and it just makes much more sense to do more damage. So we're going to be taking that. And we did reach 200 engineering, amazingly enough. And of course, in this version, these perks are not working, so it basically makes no sense. But this is actually a very cool perk if it was working. Increased damage to walls during sieges. So if for some reason one of my mods is actually making these perks work, then this one is obviously going to be extremely effective, but I don't think it is. I don't think I have any mods that do that. Anyway, we're just going to be waiting here for some time. I doubt these guys are going to go in here. I think they're just going to go and raid their own villages, because let's face it, if they take this back, it's going to be amusing like no one's business, because they're literally going to be raiding their own villages, and then they're going to go there, and the villagers are going to be extremely irritated, because they just got slaughtered by their own lords. I mean, really, I feel like that might need a little bit of reworking as well, because if you think about it, why would a lord immediately go to attack a village that was just under his control merely because the nearby town has been taken? We haven't actually done anything to this village. We haven't installed any guards there. We haven't installed anything that is actually on our side, but they treat it as an opposing force, which I suppose is fine and everything, but yeah, I still find that quite illogical in some aspects. But anyway, we're now at war against the Aserai as well, and I would very much like to declare peace with the Khuzait, because I personally feel like we are in a situation where it makes the most sense. I actually have some Khuzait troops. Oh yeah, because I took in Uluwen's party. Yes, that makes a whole bunch of sense now, doesn't it? All right, well, whatever the case, I would like to make peace with the Khuzait. I think that would probably be the most advantageous thing for us to do, because then we could refocus our efforts down in the desert lands of the Aserai. And if we take a quick look at the diplomacy screen, you can see that the Aserai are insanely strong right now. Look at that, 8,100. The Khuzait are basically limping along right now. They have diminished in combat strength by such a significant amount that I wholeheartedly believe they will probably make peace sometime soon. But until that time comes, we will continue to make them pay for Uluwen's death as much as we possibly can. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.